just to give you background, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was 17. And as most of you know, when you're 17 years old, a lot of times the focus of your life is on your peers. And that's what my focus was on. In October, I kind of had a transition with my friends. It was kind of hard because everything that I knew and everything that was dear to me was kind of taken away. And so, I didn't really feel like my family was something that was as valuable to me before life with cancer. And so I remember at one point I was so depressed, I even considered taking my own life. And I think especially nowadays, we're kind of more aware of teenagers and just kind of like what they go through. But that was definitely life before cancer. I was depressed. I was honestly tired of living. And I remember one of my cousins, Vicky, before all this depression happened, she said, you're going to have, eventually you'll get married. And I was saying, I'm going to have all my friends. I'm not going to have my family as my bridesmaids. And she kind of laughed at me and said, we'll talk when you're older. And I think so. Life before cancer was depressed. Life before cancer was not having value, towards my family. So that's what I feel about like life before cancer. The next question is, what was it like finding out that you had cancer? I think this kind of goes back to, the depressed state I was in. I remember sitting at a doctor's office in Sallisaw, I can't recall his name, and my parents were there, and I remember the doctor said he had done a pelvis x-ray, and I remember he said that she either has tuberculosis or cancer. And I think that in a way, I feel like I kind of was prepared for this because I was so depressed. I don't think I was able to take in what he actually was saying. And I remember looking at my mom and my papa, and then just like, it's just like you suck the life out of them. And I just was like, okay, I have cancer, big deal. But I think in a way, it actually made me want to live more. Instead of me wanting to take my own life, it was something like, I got to fight for my life. So I think it was tough. I think honestly, probably when I was a teenager, some of the hardest things for me with, cancer was probably my image, because that was something that was very important to me, so I think that part was very difficult. I remember one day just pulling or brushing my hair and chunks falling out of hair and being 88 pounds and just skin and bone. And so, I think that a lot of times as you get older, you look at life and cancer and think about dying, whereas I don't think I was in the place to even think about that. Mine was, what about my parents or, my image? I'm bald. I have to get up at graduation and I'm 88 pounds and I have no hair. I'm white as a ghost. So I think that, that was probably the hardest part as a teenager with cancer, was the image part. I kind of got sidetracked on that question, but the next question is, tell us about how your battle with cancer ended. Or do you feel it has ended? I think that's a good addition to the question, because a lot of times when somebody goes through cancer and they survive, not a lot of times, but sometimes people can have what we call survivor guilt. So I still struggle with that. I remember one of my friends, Nikki was her name, she had the same cancer as me, but they caught it a little bit later and it had metastasized to her back. And so in a way, I think that cancer is always there, because I feel like I have that survivor guilt. But, I think that, when I rang the bell, which is what they do when somebody is done cancer, obviously it was very exciting because I had reached the point where my body, I physically couldn't handle anymore. I mean, even just short distances were very hard. So I think that the end of the battle came at a perfect time because I had no more to give. And it was definitely an exciting time in my life and my family's life. I missed the nurses and the doctors and all the staff that I got to get to know, but obviously it was very exciting. But I still struggle to this day, you know, with that survivor's guilt. I also, for the follow-up appointments, you have to kind of go so often. And that was very scary because once you have that C word told to you, even though I didn't fully understand it at the beginning, it's always scary. Well, what if it's back? What if it's going to take me now? And so that's kind of, you know, my ending of my battle with cancer.